I don't know why I feel like singing this morning. I am so happy to be alive. So I've decided to go live. This is my part 2 of airplane rides and wrapping up what I was talking about yesterday. Okay, everybody know. Let's talk clarity, the ride, the visit, and how I feel is that everybody, everything is not always nice, but at least from my experience, nobody gets hurt. Knowing what type of children you want to create, the pleasure cost of love. I was talking about that. It could lead to chaos in your life, your soul journey, your mind, your spirit, your body, all that. What comes when you're dealing from, when you're living and connecting and dealing with, all different type of people in life, the soul that connects, that create your reality, that create your life, that create connected to where you come from, your lineage, those experiences. Of course, your ancestors. I could talk about this, how they pop up in your life through you, through your own self, not outside of yourself, but they can. Your soul connect, but as a mother, I love talking about, my motherhood, my mothership, creating babies, and the greatest reason to make sure you know the woman and who you're entering, okay? Her life, who she is, the ease of her, the Eve of her, the disease of her, what has been passed down. And this is, it's flip side. So use your common sense because, like I said yesterday, if you're coming to listen and you're searching for what's wrong, you're going to find some things inside your own mind that's going to play tricks on you. So be careful. You filter yourself. And if you want to listen, if you want to join in, if you want to speak, good morning. Love is here. We woke up this morning. We breathing. We got things to do. It's the best part of the morning where there should be peace. Not everybody peace this time of morning, I'm pretty sure. I've seen that in life, and it's unbelievable. But hey, that is what it is. Sometimes it take that. But for what it is, I got my snuggle blanket and part two. So, I had a easy flight coming back home. It was very interesting. The flight going was good. Going back to one of my hometowns. I probably need to drink a little bit of water, so I'm going to have that. Let me sit down. Let me sit up a bit. Because this morning is, laundry time, washing clothes, and, I could talk about meditating. I've done that. And like I said, my trip to my hometown, everybody, let's talk clarity. It was not really planned, but it was great. I'm so thankful for the people that are in my life and everything that I experience. We saw that movie, Little Mermaid, the latest one, and it was really great. I didn't choose the movie. The children, one of my granddaughters, She said she wanted to see it, so that was it. And I try, you got to live by example. And, it was just a lot of fun. It was interesting because, as we know, as mothers and fathers, the children that we have in our relationship, whether you're married or you're not, they don't come out the same, okay? They can come from the same womb, but even if there's two or three, they're never going to be alike. They can look alike, same mother, same father, but those kids don't be alike. So I don't go into the complexity of my own personal business and experience, but where there is right wisdom and right understanding, and even maybe even some chaos, at least understanding what the chaos is and how it got there and how to get rid of it. So, my grandbabies, they were just their personalities are just funny. All I was thinking about, I haven't been on snow for so long, I don't want to fall, one. I don't want to cause my body to be so tense that I'm dealing with, upper back experience that I haven't experienced in years. The cold make you shiver uncontrollably. I didn't have to deal with that. It was fairly good. So, in this live session of Let's Talk Clarity, I'm here. I'm not expecting anyone to speak with me. I'm doing this because it's a part of all my self. And like I was speaking to a very educated young woman, young mother, she understands the worth of her solitude. And one thing for sure, when you have that, it is a great thing, because that's not always the case. Sometimes we're out in the world and we're dealing with so many people. It is just straight nothing to do with me, nothing at all. You open the door and you got to understand, when you're stepping in the matrix, okay, you have to have complete control over yourself. And a peace of mind is what it is, but you got to expect, when you're in chaos, how to deal with it, because sometimes, things will happen. The birds and the bees sing, the snakes, the bears, the whole jungle, the whole Let's Talk Clarity, the jungle of motherhood, the jungle of fatherhood, the jungle of not knowing what the hell is going on, not knowing anything, dealing with people that are literally, and I'm just going to say it, they have their challenges. You know what I'm saying? We all have obstacle courses that we create, that we visit, that we walk, we run, we ride, whether it's on airplanes, trains, automobiles, our own feet, our own knowledge, our own spirit, our flyness, how we self-care. It is what it is. The pleasure of it all, the cost, the love, the unloving, the kindness, the unkindness, chaos itself in your life. It's from soul, spirit, body, all that. Your mind, created from just how you think. And that's why when I was even visiting with my children, even though I talk to them frequently, and when I say my children, I mean my grandchildren, of course, my children, but it was, I like to focus on that, because my reason for not wanting to govern them in a way to where, if it would have been my children, or if I would have had my own energy permeating their personality, because I don't have that luxury. I could speak to them on screen, Zoom, but it's not the same thing when you have your hands on them, your teaching, your lineage, your training, your love, your understanding, your presence as a grandmother or a father, grandfather, as a mother. You could be, a mother that your father, your mate, both, both of those things are being poured inside the child at the same time. Either or, it's the way. Okay, it's the design, let's say. Okay, let's talk clarity. There is no comparison. Oh, I was raised with both of my parents, yes, indeed. But there was also trials, okay? And it wasn't like I said yesterday, everything ain't peachy keen. Peaches and cream, strawberries and whatever. Sometime it was ramen noodles. And I don't care how fine and how much that couch costs. I don't care how much we could just sit there in front of that fireplace. It doesn't matter about the silver we ate with. It doesn't matter about the beautiful trees and how we walked around in the acres, how we walked and sat. How fine the ground was, how rich it was, how we could plant things and grab things and pick from each other's gardens, all that good stuff. The type of car of steel, Superman and Superwoman together, making super babies. It has nothing to do with it. I'm here, and it is about, you know, putting a vibration out to the universe of understanding and saying thank you. And yes, technology savvy, putting it through the waves of this Ethernet. You know, that's the focus. So most of you are looking for something wrong. You want to see how many people join in with me. Honey, let me tell you, if a whole bunch of people want to join in and want to have a conversation with me, those who want to sit back and look through the wrong and how it is, listen, the universe is in control. And if you want to say it, it's Sunday, I can go on that. The sun is in control. The Holy Spirit is in control. Okay? The mindset, Christ is in control. God is always in control. Okay? The storm, the temptation, all ain't always going to be in control through people. Some people do stuff to mess with people. Okay? And I do know people, my energy, yes, you're going to think twice. Okay? Even the most, what I can say is when you're operating with your soul light, okay, you can be the most diplomatic type of person. And most of the people that I draw, they're either sleeping or they're doing what they do because we know each other and we do it so well. And it is built on doing things in your own way, okay, and sharing. And those who can get some substance, it's not about exchanging conversations, okay, because it is sometimes not about quantity, it's about quality. And you better know that's what it's going to always be for me. Even if it is not a good day, it's going to be a quality, not so good day. So moving on to my topic, part 2, y'all. Airplane rides visit, where everybody ain't nice, but at least nobody gets hurt, to this plane ride movies and learning, okay, and how things change for better in crazy moments. There were some crazy moments for sure. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of crazy moments, it doesn't need the padded room. Okay, it doesn't need therapy. The mind doesn't need to be raped. The situation doesn't need to be pillaged, picked. You know what I mean? Analyze, circumscribed, circumstances, torn down, broken apart, put back together. None of that. It is just life itself that is wonderful. And the crazy moments was the moments that are sometimes the best moments, especially when love is a part of the ingredients sprinkled on. And that's exactly was and what it is, I was able to pop in, and create something wonderful. Um, and I could speak on some time when you can pick up a frequency of a relative or someone that's close as relative. You're dealing with, your grandchildren, the parents, family members. Everybody's reality is their own, good or bad, horror show or comedy show. Okay? So, as we all know, and I'm going to say it like this, as I do understand, no one, okay, wants to be painted as the villain. Everyone wants, especially on these social media pages. I have not yet even scrolled through the social media pages and found any mothers that get up every day that share their life experiences and want to talk about their imperfections to a point to where it's so on key. It is so put together that they're talking about what is wrong with them and how they played a role in someone's life that they either created or they either got with, and their role and how they made things very difficult, how they made things very complex, either for the children. I can't speak as a man because I ain't nowhere near like no man. But I can speak for my brothers. I can speak for my father. I can speak for my uncles. I can speak for my cousins. I can even speak for my neighbors. So, let's talk clarity. I can speak for my sisters. I can speak for my mothers, my dear mothers. I can speak for my godmothers. I can speak for my neighbors, females, dogs, cats. Okay? I can speak for all that. So let's bring some balance to this. When we experience things that are not about the tribe, that is outside the village, that is so cryptic and sadness, turmoil, and we're talking about even how we are parenting our children. I'm going to get straight to the point. Right now, we are dealing with waves from people waiting to be put in a complexity of who they truly are. And nobody wants to deal with me on a level to where if it's not love, you know what I'm saying? And you're connected to me, whether we work together, whether we are sharing a loved one together. I'm going to tell you, this is how, even for mothers that's trying to figure it out, grandmothers that's trying to figure out how to get along because you love the seed that has been created. Some of us, we don't have to talk about that. Some of us, it's a natural conversation of is. Okay? It is going to be easy for us, because the love is just poured inside the air, the earth, the water that we are. Okay? The most magical understanding of what it is to be in a most high level ship and star and sky of godliness. And it doesn't come with perfection. Oh, I can say that when it's time to take a ride and sit with the people that we love, the people that we respect, the people that we don't even hardly know, It's just something quite simple of what you're made of to understand. Also, let's get clear and crystal clear. We know what we are not made of. And it's just certain things you cannot make up. Certain things you can't make up. Certain things you can't act and pretend. Certain things even when you lie to yourself. Okay? Reality can really take a hold, and universal law, universal understanding, cosmic generosity. Okay, sometimes all those things can be generated within self. Okay, what you speak, how you're living, how you see, your insight, your outsight. So my outlook on my experiences, I can't complain. I will not. Okay, I try not to. I can look at every person that I have been encountering in my life. And when I bring it to 2025, it is dead centered, beautiful, wonderful. And I don't need to focus on the obstacle unless it's something that can generate something to share, which is basically gifted. You know, you are gifted, you are talented, you are beautiful, you are a gift to this mankindship on this earth. And you sharing your gift, you sharing your light is the best thing that you could do on whichever side of your experience, whether it's darkness, whether it's sadness, whether it seems crazy, whether it was something that was very scary, whether it was something, but in the truth of it all, the connecting to our children is so important. And it doesn't necessarily mean the children that come out your womb, the children that you have. I know that comes first, but sometimes it's so many beautiful women and fathers that don't have any children. And it wasn't because they couldn't, but it's some people that literally have chosen not to have children because they can be a good father or a good mother to so many grown children that need guidance, that need leadership. It just happens. Okay? We ain't asked to be in some of the situations and the experience, but it sure does feel good when you can walk next to someone that can take your guidance and make something out of it to make their life better. Okay? And that's what it is. Okay? The impact for me is making sure my improvement of my life is extended and my energy, okay, is not in vain. Okay? We can talk about that. My part 2 of my trip was about coming from Florida after so many years living in the tropics, traveling, and living the next life away from my hometown where I was born, New York style. My epitome of who I am is never going to change. I always tell people that I love, the people that I see that are phenomenally great, never change. Don't change, you know. And who am I to tell you that? But to hear it from someone tell you, do not change because you're a beautiful person. I've told some people not to change, and I've watched them change. And I've watched people go from being the best of who they are with their light to the worst, of themselves, of not even liking themselves. Self-hate is the worst type of hate. We have racism that is hate, but self-hate is the worst because you got to live with yourself. Okay? You can't get away from yourself. Everything that you've created in your life is coming to you. And what you eat is what you are. And it doesn't mean the bean and the piece of rice that you put in your food, the fish that you eat is what you are. But what you eat and what you take in, what you consume. Okay? So our children, what they're consuming, is what they become. It may not come from the castle that they lived in, okay? Because we all know, some of us know, that our children can go outside of their home and they can cross the street, they can walk around the corner, and even though they come from a castle, they can walk around the corner, and it's like that in Florida. And it could be a whole different barn, okay? It could be the epitome from heaven to straight hell, fire, crimson, okay, burn. And they can come back to you and be like, where you been? What you've been doing? Did you give up everything that was given to you and exchange it for what? Crumbs? Did you give your light to someone that needed the have not? Did you share what you are to someone that could have used it? And as a mother and as a father, that's when you get a knock at the door. Okay, that's how some children get closed door. That's what I was saying. Some people, we can love them, we can befriend them, but not everybody you want to bring in your house. Okay? And when I say house, we can talk about material. It's some people that you can be around and you want them in your business, you want to represent that community, but they don't need to be in your house. Because depending on who they are, they can bring something and bring the whole frequency. Okay, the plants might even suffer if you bring them in your house. Okay, you gonna suffer. So they need to stay outside because they could be the party starter. Okay, they can be the person that will bring prosperity to your business. Okay, they can bring something to light. They could be the certain person that can fix your car up. You don't want that person in your house. They might put grease somewhere where it don't belong. Okay, so moving on to the pleasure cost of love with our family, the goodness of just our children, the babies as a grandparent, the ones that listen, the ones that don't listen. You want to leave. My whole thing is that I want to always leave a lesson of love and wisdom, to where it is always going to be open door for my grandchildren to come to their nana, to come to me and speak to me and ask questions, to come and to me, live with me or visit with me, so they can get the breath of freshness, the life of knowing what it is, of what they're headed into, what they are in, and maybe how to get better. Okay, the greatest thing is the greatest life that you can ever live. And I can say, I may not know it all, but my point and my version that I am living of myself today, oh yeah, I got it. And I'm very thankful. It's nothing but gratitude. Because I know that the experience of my family, I could talk about that. It's all mixed, okay? I could talk about my son when I wanted to give him experience of where he came from. Okay, the family reunion. He had made a phone call to me and I knew it was coming. He was like, who am I? Where I come from, the lineage. He didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing so many different one-blooded people, different languages, from Patois to English, from one end of the island to this island. And I just told him, never forget it. Never allow people to tell you who you are. And when you learn about who you are, the concept of the beauty of that, if you can teach that to your families, let it be great. Let them see the stuff that is dark, maybe not so good, but keep an open door of that truth. Keep the open door of that truth, because what it's going to do is whatever way they leave the nest, when they go out in the world, they're not going to be in a circumstances of not knowing how to deal with critic mind, critic action, pro-action, how to get out of something that don't belong to them, how not to bring it to your front door. You understand? Not to bring it inside the mind of innocence. Okay? our innocent baby, male and female. They don't know nothing. All they know is us. That's the first thing they look at when they come into the world. They look at the doctor. Okay, they're inside your womb. They are hearing everything. They're feeling you. They even come from the Father first. Let's get that crystal clear. Okay? And then there is that understanding. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay? And let it be good. Because our children need to understand what that is. We can't just pray for somebody and give them a verse out of Genesis or Revelations and just say something and they can repeat it and they can understand what it is and they can use it in their life to walk through something, to walk into something, or to become something that you want them to become. The greatest part of themselves is you. And if you introduce your worst, okay, and I'm going to say this. We can go to the church and I can go to the church house and I can talk about the minister and the greatness of the wife, the first lady, and her children. And the truth of the matter is those children were brought up about whatever religion that they were in, okay, whatever. And I'm not going to go as far as religion is concerned, but you and I both know that sometimes those kids that was living that life of purification, they don't know nothing about no dirt street. They don't know nothing about chaos. They don't know nothing about the monsters, okay, the Addams family. But you better know that they going to want to know. They going to want to go straight to it and see what it is because they don't watch Father, okay, do the exorcist, take the demonic understanding from people, okay? So they're going to maybe want to be chaotic because they have that courage. They have that encouragement. If you come from a father or a mother that's not afraid of anybody, your children's not going to be afraid of anybody. They're going to go straight to where there is chaos, and they might be very good at killing chaos, okay? But you have to understand that when that happens, and if you're fearful for your children, you're also creating a paradox, okay? Because they're going to have to come back to you. And as we get older, and as what we wanted for our children, we wanted the doctor, we wanted the lawyer, you understand? We wanted the saving grace of our babies, of our daughters, okay? You wanted the king, the prince, all of that. My parents wanted the princess, but I was that little girl. I could see it through my grandchildren. They dressed me up in lace. Okay, I had the prettiest dress on, but God knows I was climbing fences, doing backflips. Okay, I had to put the little shorts on, came back home with the lace torn up. Okay, how did you get that? I know what I did. I was on the merry-go-round and the little kid tried to get me off and I slapped him in the middle of next week. Okay? So when I see my grandchildren in their best little clothes and I could see all my little mini-me's, okay? It's not even limited to that. I can look at some of my people and I can see myself in them and they're not even a woman. I can see the strength of my father. I can see the weakness of my father. The truth of that. Some people that don't even have fathers, they don't know that who they father are. They gonna be open to any father. Okay? They're gonna have their imagination. The imagination of who their father is. And if it's something that they found on TV, if it's something from their best friends that they've had to experience, their best friend's father, they're going to want that father, even if he's a not so great father. We don't want our kids just exposed to anything. So in my days, we didn't have that thing to where we was spending the night with everybody. So children, when you see them and when we have them, we want to embellish them to be able to have precaution to protect themselves, okay? As a mother and as a single mother, I didn't choose to always work a daytime job. I had to take that sacrifice and make sure that I was available for mine. Okay? And some of us know about that. Even if you're working a daytime job and you need to be available for your children, it's not easy to do. Because in my own background, becoming a mentor, standing in the gap for parents, they weren't always available, but sometimes they're very much needed because there's rules to this game of life and how to play it. And everybody ain't playing the game of life fair. And I got a list, okay? And I don't need to call names out because it's all about status. It's all about labels. And even the schools, whether they're private, whether they're city, whether they're the neighborhood center and all that. What children do remember, they do remember their experiences, okay? They don't forget the bad ones, okay? They remember those too, okay? And I used to have this game that I played with my children. And when we got together, it didn't matter when, but within that day, what did you experience that was great? And what did you experience when you were bad? When bad experience, when something was bad, when you did something bad or somebody brought to you, and they was open. Which one you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the bad first, or you want to talk about the good? And as a grandparent, you have to understand that most parents nowadays, when they have their children, you embrace them, okay? And you have an open mind, an open spirit. It's not easy to do all the time. And this ain't that show. This ain't that part where I'm talking about the reasons of the unreasonable parenting, the co-parent to the worst that you don't get along with anymore. I'm talking about from the beginning, okay? When the goddess and the God created this wonderful, exceptional creature, this human being. You talk about the bad, and when you get that, and if it's something that they did, I guess the fear of God, they might come and tell you everything. The fear of God, they might come and say, I didn't do so well. The fear of God that's in them, okay? Whether it's the fear from the mom or the dad or both, they're going to speak their part because there's a reward. There's a reward of understanding. There's a reward of unconditional love. There's a reward of the energy and the light that we create. Okay? All right, so you kicked the hell out of that little girl that pushed you in line. Okay? She pulled your hair and you pulled her hair and y'all ended up on the floor. Okay? So handling that, it is going to be something that the next time they get an opportunity to react, that it's not going to go down in history, that they can't control their emotions. They should know, and this is my experience, they should know that whatever reason they did something, it was in the best of what they were facing, and they're here and now. Okay? It could be a situation to where there ain't no time to think, but it's a time of their reaction. And that's what training means. That's what co-parenting means. Those are the conversations that need to be talked about. I don't know on this earth why, as a grandparent and even as a friend, I can hear conversations of women when you're co-parented and you're not together, the conversations that is being turned into arguments, that is disagreements, who you were with. You done moved on. You're with someone that is great. It wasn't like the relationship that created those children, okay, which was separate. So obviously there was disagreement, the unloving, okay, torn, broken relationship. You moved apart, you got with someone else, okay, and now the child is in the middle and they just want to be with their parents. They just want to experience what children want to experience. But why is there always something? And I'm not saying this as a I don't know. I know why. Some people, only thing that they can focus on is I don't want my child around that female. I don't want my child around that man. I don't want my child around his father because his father is something blah, 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 a boop, 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 okay, or katoop, 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 dot, 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 okay. It comes a time when some of the things that I've learned about mothers that you have to reap what you sow because you don't want to be painted as a mother with something wrong with you. And when you don't want to sit up and you have to deal with everybody that's going to look at you and they want to see what's wrong with you more than they want to see what's right with you. If you got something going on with yourself and you hiding it, we're living in a time to where you just can't make it up. Okay? All right? So there's a reason why some people avoid you. I love it. Yeah, avoid me at all costs. Because one thing you're not going to do, you're not going to lie on my babies. You're not going to have a scenario, a story that's so built that you're the perfect person that's not with my daughter. You understand? And the life that I gave her, you have a reason to give her something that she ain't even created herself. And that's hell, because the things that my daughter, for example, has created for herself, oh, she can choose her battle. She has the eye of discernment. She can say, oh yeah, I was wrong. Okay, it only takes a little while to sit with yourself in solitude and said, I didn't have a great day today. And I was that one. I didn't have no patience for anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Okay? I didn't want to even look at what I had to deal with. Whether you're a business owner, okay, you have to do what you create. You created that business. You can't close the door. You in there. You can't leave. You got everything coming in the door, and it still has to be, hello, how can I help you today? No matter what going on, the person that you facing is somebody that you actually, instead of them paying you, you want to go in that register, you want to give them a $20 bill to get so far away from you, okay? And you have to, me as a mother, I've had to teach my children how to do that. We ain't got a problem with cutting you off. We cut you off, okay, because of saving grace. You understand? My name, I switch up quick. I can be Miss Grace and I can be Miss Chaos. It depends. If I'm going to save my children or if I'm going to stand next to my children, even whether they're wrong or right, it's going to be some grace about that. Okay? Because what people don't understand, you can handle anything with just a dash of honey. Okay? A little bit of salt. Okay? All right? A little bit of fire. All right? You can handle anything, even when your children are wrong. Okay? It's not about running your mouth telling them that they're wrong. But when they're ready, they'll come to their senses. Okay? Even if they're lost their mind. Even if they're lost their mind. Okay? They'll come to a point to where that connection that they have with you, that they can literally say, I don't know why I did that, but can you tell me? And it may not go like that. They might be looking for you for something to want to breathe in and understand about themselves, about who they are, about who you are. So let's talk clarity. I got on that plane and I won't get real street and blunt the way I am. I will eventually in my segments of Let's Talk Clarity. But this is about the experience that I had and I'm saving grace right now. I'm saving my face. I'm being fake. I'm being so fake. When I was on that ride and the way it was bumpy and it felt like, I was looking at the propellers and I was like, gosh, did this thing break? The way it was going. And we go down, am I going to be all right? And I actually looked around that plane and I was like really so thankful for that moment, that crazy moment that I had in my mind, that if I had to die today, the people that I was sitting with, the people in the certain status of level that I was with, I was good. The thing that I did and where I was coming from, and the things that I put in the day before I left, and the day that I left, and the people that I was around, I was good. If there was a few people that weren't so good about me, that's okay. It might, my funeral probably would have went down. They probably would have been the people that thought that I rubbed them the wrong way. They probably would have been at my funeral and they would have been the ones that was crying hard as hell. Okay? Wishing that they could talk to me. And you know what? That's what it is about. Because when you're present with people and sometimes they're not at their best, you can't change them. You can't change your grandchildren to act right. You can't tell your children to do certain things and expect them when you're not there. If they chose to do something great, phenomenal, it may not came from you. If they did something that was close to the worst, ape shit, you weren't there. They decided to swing, like in the jungle and do all that ape shit. My whole thing is when you going home to your final permanent closing your eyes, okay? Because that's what we going to do one day. You want to make sure even the worst of the worst experience with people, they going to have to deal with that. Some people may not even know you done went on permanently. And if they never know, that's good. Because if there was something that you've done that wasn't so great, you ain't got to worry about them looking at your grave, looking at you in that casket, or however you send yourself off and choose, okay, to where they have to think about that time when you was at your worst, okay. That is the best that I could say as far as, my grandchildren and that experience. They weren't so great, but they can definitely say, my nana, I acted up, but she didn't have to tell me that she was going to light my tail up on fire. Okay? Because I know we living in days to where if you put your hands on your children, it could be capital punishment and you will be paying the price. Okay? It's some mothers and fathers that don't know when to quit. They grab their children up and they go straight Halloween, Michael, Madness, horror show. Okay? And it's not necessary because the harder you go on children, the harder they become. The harder you go on your children, the harder they become. So if you think about it, when you look at certain lineage or you look at your own experiences, and I can understand why my father never put his hands on me, even if I was cutting the rug, okay? And I can understand why certain children who did get their tail tased, okay, by a slap or a belt or whatever, at the time, it put something in them, fear of God, all right, not to do that no more. But I can also respect the lesson of life that I was able to live in luxury of my father never had to put his hands on me. It was his frequency and his energy, okay? And we had to do the math. We had to do the psychological spirit of understanding, okay? And when you're not doing what you're supposed to, it had to be a reason. And if it was unreason, there had to be a lesson. But it was the finest type of lesson. It wasn't type of messy stuff that I know some of my friends had to go through. Okay? That brings me for who I am today. Okay? And I'm not talking about, excuse me, I had to put my alarm on pause.
It's a place where you can get all your foods that you love. I love my foods that I cook. I cook a mixture of things. Um, Food Town. We go to Food Town, and I gotta go get my chicken, and I gotta go get my veggies. I gotta go get my bami. I gotta go get my breadfruit. All the things. It's kind of late, but my schedule has been crazy, and it's time for me to get busy. I'm so thankful for where I am in these days. My hood in New York, I always love going back there because the history will never be erased. My grandfather that migrated from the UK, I love him. His example is right on church. Okay. It will never leave that village. It's permanent. And that is so important that I could walk down that boulevard and I could look. I can go back to one of my hometowns and I can look at my mother's upbringing. I still can look at my sisters. I can look at myself. You know what I mean? Those 93 acres, that Indian land that she was born on, that black Taino Indian in her. We all look around and we try to label ourselves, the American black, the American brown. I know where my parents came from. They weren't the same, but yet their love was great. You know what I mean? In these days, I don't know what they would have thought, but when you mix family and you mix, nothing can defeat love. And I always tell people, and I always tell my children, always tell anyone that can intimidate you, even you have to tell yourself. You can't do nothing with God. You can't change the universe. You can't make things up. You could try to force all you want to, but you can't do nothing to real love. It's some of my brothers out there that they've married for love, they've married for business, they've married for money, they've married for pleasure, they've married for control, they've married for being out of control. But one thing for sure is if you are in your awareness of who you are and the choices that you make, it's never too late to make it greater. Okay? The impact that you can have on moving forward for yourself, for your left foot and your right foot, and even your left side of your brain and your right side of your brain. Even if the back of your lobe of your macabre is not working properly, work with the part of your mind, okay, that is working properly, and move forward in that. The universe is going to work with you. Okay? I'm not perfect. All right? But the imperfections of all my scars, I can look at everything about me being the star of who I am, and I know who I am. Self. You know what I'm saying? I can look at my way that I moved in this world and I can be so thankful. Okay? Ain't nothing came across me permanently. All right, with temporary in my life. Okay? Every person or thing that was temporary in my life, they have no permanent take on me. And I'm talking about people that might watch this video and they dealing with permanence of something that they have to live with that they can't get rid of. All right. Just take what you have and live your best life and feel good that you had that moment. You had that here and now to even maybe look at the fact that maybe you don't have your grandbabies. Maybe you're gonna come across a baby that you could basically give something to, share your light so they can walk and remember you for the rest of your life better than their own parent, better than their own granny, their own grandpa, their own cousin, their own sister, their own brother, their uncle, their auntie. You know what I'm saying? That's what this life is. How to play the game. I couldn't even put it in this segment because I'm still experiencing it. So let's talk clarity, okay? I love you. I love you, my cousin. I love you, my uncle, like my dad, the heavenly father of Judah. All right, the juice, all right, the wells, all right. I love you. We had those moments, we had those things that memories that we can always talk about, and it was never fake on my part. Trust me, we can all fake it. They had that saying, "Fake it till you make it." I would look around and be like, I really don't want to do that because if I fake it, you know what I'm saying, it might take me so far away from myself, or it might put me in a position to where it ain't gonna be good. Because when people think that you're really nice, okay, you're so nice, she's so nice, all they see is stupid on your head and they will mess with you. And I'm going to tell you, I was that person. Okay, I can be nice, I can be collective, I can run business, making sure people getting what they need to. But one thing I ain't going to do is I ain't going to be able to pause. If I can't pause and if I can't breathe, it's time for me to act in my critical moment of loving myself. And either you need to run, either you need to change, or you may just need to be quiet and look, lose your mind and find your senses. And that's another segment. Let's talk clarity. Anyway, good day, good night, love you.